Hey, we're here with yet another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our thoughts on the latest games releasing. And today we're playing Age of Empires Definitive Edition. With this, the original classic Age of Empires gets a full remaster with crisper, redone 4K visuals and the like. This is very much still the classic and beloved real-time strategy game from 1997 though. It's basically one of the few games from the era that pushed the genre forward, kind of like a fun hybrid between Civilization and the original Warcraft games. It sets you out as one of a few real-world early civilizations, and it's up to you to progress through the ages, building up your buildings, resources, armies, and then go out and conquer. And while that's definitely not new territory at all, here in this game from 1997, Age of Empires, it feels really simple. Almost humble, I'd say. I do not mean simple in a bad way, though, because it can be very fast-paced and challenging. Compared to some other RTSs, this one is consistently rewarding. It's all almost instant gratification and constant growing and killing and battling. Even the religious aspects of campaigning manage to have way more engagement than you'd expect. And despite the game being so old and not having much changes aside from a few small convenience tweaks here and there, it still feels good. Really good. It's almost refreshing to go back and play a game like this, to be honest. As a freaking huge Civilization fan, it feels nice to step down to something that I haven't played since I was a kid, and the only way to get a computer was at the local library. It also helps that it has a fresh coat of paint that is completely true to the original game art-wise. The up to 4K resolution looks great, and the UI fits the screen nicely and isn't obtrusive at all. It's all got a great amount of at-a-glance info, and the game has a redone narration and some sound effects work too. And thankfully, most importantly, there's a lot to play through with a full tutorial campaign and a long list of campaigns to play through. They all have some variation to them, from the goals themselves or how the scenarios start and what they set you up with. What's nice is that they aren't all open-ended. Some of the campaign stuff has a set of goals to work for, and again, compared to other RTSs, it's just kind of fun to have goals to push through or checklists to check off along your way to a victory. It can vary from long sessions to more bite-sized quick play stuff. There's a lot here to chew through, and I'm all about it though. It's pretty damn fun. My one complaint though is that by the end of the last few campaigns, since the game is fairly simple, you'll have pretty much seen everything the game has to offer by then. But if you're loving that gameplay straight up, it may not matter to you much. If that's your type of thing for playing a game, just be aware. One thing I picked up on is that the game can show its age in bad ways here and there. The biggest example is the pathfinding AI, which can be god awful at times. While the game got a few modern conveniences like the idle unit button from later games, the AI can still get stuck on buildings and take weird awkward paths and just get separated from a larger group for no reason and look absolutely stupid, waste your time, and just generally be a mess. It can be kind of frustrating. What can also be frustrating is just some of the stuff with the older game itself, stuff that was not developed until later games, just a lack of unit diversity or building diversity or having a ton to really sink your teeth into. Variety just isn't there with a lot of the build-up, and playing from one civilization to another doesn't have much difference besides little visual differences in the buildings, and even those are pretty slight. Unlike more modern RTSs, you can't do much in the way of shift commands or unit queuing, and these can be sorely missed features at times. Thankfully though, like I keep saying, things don't get too complicated, so you can still keep things kind of under control without said conveniences, but I still think it's definitely worth pointing out because it can be glaring at times. Plus though, things are way more fun when you play with others, I will say that. There's a LAN option as well as just expanded online multiplayer. Battles and maps can get pretty big, and matches are quick and easy to find and set up. I'm serious, if this multiplayer really takes off, it can become the bread and butter of this definitive edition big time. I think there is a community out there itching to just play old RTSs online, and an Age of Empires game would fit right into that. There's also a scenario editor that gives you enough tools to make your own suggestions and parameters and levels and even campaigns. It's pretty insane and comprehensive. It may not be completely intuitive at times, but it gives you more than enough freedom, and if you're into that, you can really nerd out with it. Me personally, I barely touched it because it's just not my thing, but hey, it's there for you. And overall, Age of Empires Definitive Edition is just like a satisfying package that gives you a lot of good game for the buck. Especially if you're an RTS fan or even just a new RTS fan, this is a good one to jump into. It's got plenty of problems, it feels old still, but it also looks way nicer, and there's just a lot of fun to be had in it. I still personally prefer going back to Age of Empires 2, but I'll say it's great to have this definitive edition. But that's how Before You Buy works, guys. You know, I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I definitely want to hear yours down in the comments. Hello, PC gamers. Let's talk about this game. Let's talk about Age of Empires. If you have been playing the definitive edition, I want to know how you're feeling, but I also just want to know what your favorite Age of Empires game is, or let alone maybe even just your favorite RTS and one you'd like to see get remastered like this. Let's talk about anything Age of Empires and RTS goodness down in the comments below. I'll be down there talking to you guys. But as always, thanks for coming around. Clicking the like button does help us out. We do really appreciate it. And if you are new, you should subscribe because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.